Okay, so we're back. We're back. I did just take a current position. I did not stream it live just because I was so focused. I just totally forgot about this. Like, again, just being able to stream. Um, again, I was just so focused on this trade. It wasn't even necessarily because what kind of got me right. So let's kind of just break down this trade real quick. Um, and we kind of go back right now. So right now we're currently $147 in profit, right? I did just take a position, maybe like I don't know, what was this like an hour ago? This $30 loss, which was dumb because it wasn't even a stop loss. I closed out my position, which is super should not have done that, right? Should not have done that. Um, and again, we shouldn't have done that because we would have won, right? But again, at this point in time, this first trade that I took about an hour ago, I was super inconfident, like not confident at all. Um, like I said, those losses that I took earlier on this week really did affect me because I was just overthinking a lot here. Like this, I was just overthinking to the max. We took a buy, and obviously, as you guys can tell, it ended up pushing up like I thought it was gonna do. But I ended up closing out early just because we went. Again, I just wasn't confident. Like the minute I entered, I was overthinking. Like, okay, what does this need to do to kind of maintain? Am I still good? Am I still not good? Like all this stuff, right? I was just overthinking to the max that I just didn't feel comfortable. Like I hate entering a trade, and the minute I enter a trade, I don't know my key points. I don't know what I'm looking for. I don't know. I just don't know, right? And that was like the main thing. Like during this whole thing, I just didn't know. I was overthinking a lot, and I just hated that, right? So I just exited out. I was like, I'm done. Next thing you know, within like 3 minutes, it pushes up right where I thought it was gonna go to this golden zone area. But instead, we take a 30. So again, that was just complete, and I was just that really got me mad, and that's when I just really focused in and zoomed in on this whole entire trade here, in which I just completely forgot to like record. Because again, this trade kind of just got to me, and then I told myself I'm just gonna focus, and yeah, just get into this trade here. So I basically got into this trade here. It was a little bit late, and the reason why it was late was because this is the first time I've actually experienced this type of like entry like this, I guess you can say. The fact that I was looking for a breakup support, right, or at least a tested candle coming down, which we came down in a lower time frame. We did break the support on M5. I wanted to see the break of support, or at least a tested candle. Um, like I said, this was clean until it pulled back like crazy, and then I was like, shoot, should I not enter? Should I enter? Should I wait? Or like I was just, I've never experienced this to the point where like it didn't close underneath, but on lower time frames, we still broke the support here, right? And then it still ended up playing out, which I guess is just like a learning experience. But yeah, I just completely just I was just kind of not confident at all. If this would have closed here, underneath here, then on M1 I would have gotten in on this lower high point here. But the fact that this kind of just pulled back like crazy, I was just like, shoot, like should I enter? Should I not? So then I just waited for us to get a clear. Even though it was gonna be a late entry, like it was. I got an entry down here, but at least at this point I understood that okay, I was looking for a break of support, and like I said, I got that right. So that's when I entered off here, break off that support. So it was really like I said, late entry, but again I would have gotten in based off this candle here, if this candle would have formed like properly, but it just completely threw me off. But nonetheless, right, we still traded, especially where my TP is supposed to kind of go at this point. Um, my TP is down here at the blue zone here, so we're not that far away. As of right now, we're starting to pull back a little bit. Um, like I said, based off this trade here, I'm trying to actively analyze. Right, that was one of my main things I did not do on Monday, Tuesday. I don't know. Whenever I took those losing trades, something I wasn't doing. So now I'm kind of doing that as of now. I want to see if I can even try to maintain this level. We did get a pullback. I'm not too scared about that though. But based off just lower time frames, my main time frame right now of lower time frames is this M5 time frame. Um, and as of now, like I said, structure is maintaining beautifully. Like I said, we did get this break, and then as this was pulling up a little bit, I drew this resistance level out here, but it just ended up maintaining right off lower time frames like the product M1 or something. So like I said, M5 is still that structure for me for us to maintain. just because none of this is correlating, right? All these breaks is not really correlating. So if I do get a break of resistance, that's not a good sign, right? The only correlation I do like want to see, this is off the H1 time frame. Right, is based off this here, right? But if we go down to lower time frames off the M5, we did break this level here, which I want to say it is. Damn. This candle is the 4 o'clock candle. 4 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 4 o'clock. So right here, yeah. So right here, so this is where we created support. This is literally support. And like I said, with this candle, look at that. We broke it. But right. But it's in this candle here. So we're still active on this candle. Still active, right? So which means that because it's still active, it's not necessarily real yet, right? If it was a candle closure, I would have felt a lot more better holding this trade. I still feel confident holding this trade as long as we just maintain structure off the M5, like I just said, right? If we can continue to kind of just push here, boom, boom, right, and just continue to make lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, right? As long as we continue to do that, I'm okay with holding this trade. Even, I mean, like I said, even I understand, right? The minute we break a resistance level, I'm going to exit out of this trade. I mean, depending if we continue to form, like if we can form another H1 bearish candle, then that's just beautiful. That would be like really what would be what I would need, right? For me to continue to hold this trade and feel confident about this whole entire push down, because now we have a break of support. Now we have all these things kind of correlating, right? And just pushing down and pushing up. And right now we do have our stops at a good point. We have above here, but I think if we can at least form this next H1 candle here, this would be a proper stop loss area for this kind of maintaining in a sense. But we need this H1 candle here. So I'm on M5 strictly. Structure has to maintain based off this time frame. Yeah, because that's the only kind of correlation that we do have. Like I said, my stop loss is here. I mean, my take profit is here. We hit this take profit here. I think it's like about, it's like a $500, $600 trade, right? If we do play this out, which would be nice, right? But like I said, I'm not really worried about that whole money part of the aspect. I just simply want to get better, right? I want to catch the whole move. I want to be able to catch moves, complete moves, and just kind of that's what I really take pride in, rather than just obviously the money is a plus, right? It comes with it, but again, me being able to catch, I rather say that I was able to catch this whole entire push down, right, of a move. I'd rather say that. I'd take more pride in saying that, right? So I just got to really, really focus in on this trade here. And like I said, so that's kind of my key points at this time, right? So like I said, really, really focus on this M5 time frame for me. If we can just maintain structure off here, off M5, that'd be great. H1 candle has to close bearish for me to feel confident even kind of holding this. And yeah, we'll see how this kind of plays out. Like I said, we are in profit right now, so that's good. Like I said, my TP is here. It's mainly based off the H4 time frame, right? If we can just continue to get this push here, this is kind of that next key zone I do see, and I do see some exhaustion here as well. This is kind of like a little key point. There's some exhaustion here to this extent here. So I could see potential struggle around this area here. Based off just kind of exhaustion here, but yeah, based off H4, right? But we still have 2 hours. So it's really, really just holding this trade out, right? I'm gonna hold this trade out until M5 gives me a reason to kind of exit. Until then, even if that means, me closing with a $50 profit or whatever the case may be. But like I said, I do think that we could see H4 at least. This thing is bothering me. at least pushing down to about here. And yeah, so like I said, I feel a lot more confident entering. I feel like this was kind of what I needed. You know what I mean? And again, I had this trade right. This I could have been up. Like I said before, I hate saying shoulda, coulda, woulda, but this is a winning trade, right? And this would have been $170 in profit. $170 starting off the trading day would have been beautiful, right? Something that but again, I just completely lost it. Completely lost my confidence. Especially after those losing days. But then look, see again, this is just came in profit. I would have called this move up, and now I'm kind of catching this move down. Right. So again, I just gotta stop losing that confidence within myself. Just stop overthinking. Like after, especially that's what kind of affects me. Right after I lose, it's like, damn, like do I really know what I'm doing? You know what I mean? But just gotta maintain that focus and maintain that confidence. So I would essentially hold this trade live, but I do want to break down GU for a potential, like I said, to see if there's any type of positions I can take when I do wake up this morning. So if it wasn't because of that, I would still be live. But like I said, this is kind of where I'm at currently. Yeah, let's just see if this maintains. Like I said, hopefully by tomorrow we can do the recap. We are in TP. We're in within the blue zone here. And yeah, like I said, M15, I'm not really using my M15 time frame. Just because it's very, very similar to just H1, right? So the H1 just has a bit more exhaustion, so it's very, very similar, right? We have this bearish push, right? Bearish push. We have a bullish push up, and then bearish push. Like there's not really like resistance support. We don't see any of that, so I'm not really using that time frame. Just H1, M5. If we can maintain all of this, it'd be perfect, right? So like I said, key points. I'm just waiting for this counter to close. If we can close bearish, then that would for sure make me withhold this trade, right? Because at this point in time, this here would literally be a lower low, as you guys can see here. We break underneath this level here, so on this time frame we would get that lower low, right? We've been kind of sloppy here. Tested candle, another tested candle here. This would be a complete lower low. So we'd even be able to maybe see a slight lower high point, and if we do see that slight lower high point or retracement, I'd feel comfortable. But at least this point here would be closed, right? We'd have closed volume here, and then based off the M5, if we do get this close, this would just be one big push of a correlation, which again maybe around this area, which I was looking at before, which I marked off this resistance here. This would be a key zone right here for me to potentially enter off another, maybe even another sub position, right? If we can really get this correlation going. Yeah, I'll leave it on this time frame. So this is that resistance level here that we saw. But mainly because of this exhaustion zone, as you can see, it touched a bunch of exhaustion here, just a really key point, right? And I can keep dragging this out, and you can see just key points. So this would be another key point for me to enter another position. On the fact that, like I said, we do have good stops here. I believe so. I don't believe that we need to push it all the way up here. But yeah, that just kind of goes based off that there. Jeez. I don't know. Because looking at the H4, I mean, H4 can really pull back, right? Even if we get a big bullish candle, and I would hate for H4 pullback to really take me out. All right, because that can just be a crazy wick, and on H1, this can just be a really crazy wick as well. To really stop me out here. Like I said, I don't know. We'll keep actively analyzing as long as this maintains. I still feel confident. Yeah, so we'll see how this kind of trade turns out. Currently still in profit.